Going to the thing. Go ahead, bud. Put it towards that.
No?
Yeah. That's this way. Hello everyone, welcome to JoeyTLive Leafs Talk, Life Talk, episode 12. Tonight's sponsor is from my favorite sponsor, me. For all your mortgage needs, call me 416-553-5639, or if you have email, if you don't, you're stuck in the 90s, joey.tomaselli@thenovagroup.ca. Guys, please share this show. Faster you share it, faster I get rich. Special co-host tonight is Matt Piva. So happy to have him on board. He was on our last show. Matt, break down who you are to my audience.
What's up, guys? Happy to be here. Thanks for having me,
Oh,
Joe.
I was dying to have you on here.
I guess you could call me a hockey guy. I told Joe I'd love to be on the show, talk hockey all day with him, amongst a lot of other things that maybe can't be on the camera, but we'll leave that for later. I played hockey my entire life, I guess you could say that. Played in the O, played a little bit of pro. Retired about 5-6 years ago, had a hockey school, started a sports management company called Empire's Lifestyle Management. We help out a couple of the NHL players with day-to-day needs, and now that's it.
That's it. Well, actually, you're one of the reasons why I started the show. Matt came up to me maybe about a year ago, or Franco LaFranco, who's not here tonight. He's on mat leave. I guess he's pregnant still. He hasn't yet to come on a show live. He was only in a costume once. But shout out to Ralph Spataro wherever you are. Matt always had this idea to get a show started. That's why he's going to be featured a lot going forward, and co-host, basically coming on the show a lot, and hopefully have you on many, many times. We also have someone here saying hello from Calgary. We got a viewer from. That's nothing wrong with that. Tough game tonight. The post is still ringing. Yeah, off the crossbar. But the better version, everyone, Natasha, yeah, take off your hat, show them who you really are. Give me 1 second.
Well, I don't think Phil Kessler.
Matt, tell them about your hockey school for a bit while I check the camera.
So it's called Bar Down Hockey Development. We established it about 5-6 years ago, located in Vaughan. Basically what we do is we do on-ice skill development with teams, players. We do private, semi-privates, and like I talked a little bit about last time, I was lucky enough to get into the BioSteel camp the last couple years, where we had a lot of top NHL superstars.
Who did you have actually come to that camp?
Over the last couple of years, I mean, Cammy's always there, Seguin, McDavid, Simmons, Delzato, Darnell Nurse, Sac Ronaldo, Max Domi. Yeah, the list goes on and on. I was fortunate enough the last 3 years to train Alex Pietrangelo one-on-one every summer, which was always exciting, having a gold medalist on your ice.
One of the best defensemen in the world.
Yeah, he's having a career year. Not to say that I had anything to do with it, but he's.
Let's go with that. I think it was because of you, and I think my show is going to make you even a bigger trainer going forward. How did you feel watching McLovin up front, right in front of you? How was he right in front of your eyes?
He was something special. He was definitely the fastest human being I've ever seen on the ice. He's a quiet, humble kid. He's not a big guy in the spotlight, but I mean, in the room, the boys love him. He's definitely, from what I see, a team guy, and I mean, he's a superstar of all superstars, right? I mean, kids adore him. I adore him. You see all these 10, 11-year-old kids, especially kids on my team, they look at him like Gretzky, which, I mean, you can't compare him to. But, it's all Connor this, Connor that.
He's a freak of nature. I haven't seen a player that fast since Pavel Bure. Mind you, Pavel Bure is better looking than him, but on the ice that means nothing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's got that $13.7 million smile, right?
Yeah, 100%. I actually met him this summer at Laval. He was just looks like an innocent guy that was in the movie Superbad. He didn't really look like he brought much to the table. Quiet, didn't drink, just chilled out. But on the ice, wow, I haven't seen anything like that in my life. He does stuff I have never seen before. But at the end of the day, he's not Mateo, so we're not going to talk about him too much. I'm going to get into a couple other things, though. Actually, Mateo's back. Matty came back, actually, Saturday, thank God, against Montreal Canadiens. He played his 100th game tonight. A couple things I want to go through with you. Through 99 games, he's in an elusive company with Wayne Gretzky after 99 games, had 60 goals, 108 assists, 168 points. Crosby had 48 goals, 82 assists, 130 points. McLovin, 34 goals, 74 assists, 108 points. And Matthews not far behind, 52 goals, 38 assists, and 90 goals. So I think Matthews, Mateo, whatever you want to call him, is in the discussion. Okay, Wayne played in the 80s, where I think my mom could have been a goalie in the 80s. They were a lot smaller, the goalies. Alan Bester had a goals against average of about 5.5. Pads were a lot smaller, but Wayne was still nuts. At the end of the day, 2,900.
Yeah, Wayne's Wayne.
Wayne's Wayne. You got Crosby, I believe his first year he played with St. Magnifique. I think it was his first year, 2006.
Yeah,
Mario, he did, and he actually lived in Mario's house. I wish I lived in Mario's house growing up. No offense to you, Mom. And we have McDavid, 108 points. Matthews does have the lowest points, 90, compared to all the goals stick out. Like, I really believe between the four of them, once their career is all said and done, I know Wayne's done already, Matthews not going to score 894 goals, but he'll have more goals than Crosby and McDavid, I think, for sure. What do you think?
I think it's a given. I mean, the guy's just a natural goal scorer. You look at these numbers here. I mean, through 99 games, I know McDavid, didn't have the support that Crosby and Wayno did. I mean, Wayno probably, who did Wayno play with that first year?
I think he was right off the bat. He was with Curry.
And I mean, he had Semenko patrolling the ice.
Around like my dad. That's what he was there for.
I mean, 52 and 99 games. That's pretty crazy. And like I said, I wasn't a Matthew fan at first. I mean, Marner's my guy, but I mean, it gets to the point where you can't knock the guy. The guy's
even if you hate him, you gotta respect his release.
He's crazy.
His release is like, it's my mouth in the nightclubs. It comes off soft, and then before you know it, I have digits, and my phone's blowing up, and I just left the club. I'm like, why? He texted me, give me some space. And that's the way I feel about his release. And again, all four guys there are Hall of Fame players, guaranteed. Crosby's nuts, 3 Stanley Cups, Golden Goal.
He's got to be top 5 of all time right now.
I think so, 100%. Imagine he didn't get hurt in the 2-year span. He has about 1,200 points. He'd probably be at 1,500 points, a lot of records, maybe another cup. Too bad. I think that ex-Maple Leaf gave him that elbow in the Winter Classic. What's that ham's name? He was on our 4th line. He gave him a nice elbow to the head. Can't think of it right now, but that I didn't think Crosby was ever going to come back after that big hit, and then another hit in Tampa really set him back. And then first game back against the Islanders, 4 goals. That's what Crosby does. McDavid, I don't know. This year, his team doesn't look good, but he's still going to get his 90 points. And
yeah,
I think if Matthews continues what he's doing, I don't see any reason why he can't score 500 goals with that release. We have Natasha from Calgary, actually. Johnny Hockey's on fire, though. Of course, Natasha, you would love Johnny Hockey. He's another great player, very underrated. Johnny Hockey's got great hands.
He's one of top 3 now.
And he is top 3, yes. And he's a great player, too. All respect for him. It's too bad the Olympics are not going on this year. Imagine an American team. I wouldn't cheer for them, but you got Kane, Matthews, Johnny Hockey, Oshie. There's other players that I'm missing right now. That they can make a deadly 2-3 lines on that team. That would have been fun to watch in the Olympics. Shout out to Batman for ruining that. And there's nothing you could do about that. No Olympics. I think Italy would have won it this year, though, in the Olympics for hockey. Since
are they in?
I think Gigi would have won it.
Division 6?
Yeah, Division 6, because they didn't make the World Cup.
Against
Somalia, yeah. But that's nothing we could do about that. But Matt, I was looking at something here today. In 2014, December 6th. Now, Matt is not a Toronto fan, but I still love him like a brother. He's allowed to be on the show. He's got a lot of hockey knowledge. He likes the Boston Bruins. But I'm going to go through a lineup from the Leafs in 2014, December 6th. Their first line was JVR, Bosak, and the hot dog stand, Phil Kessel. Second line, Winnick, Kadri, my third cousin Santorelli. Third line, Lupo just came home from Maison that game. Holland and Clarkson, the worst hockey player we've ever gotten for $6 million. Smith, no panic Yannick, and another Smith. I don't know, I just wrote it twice. On defense, Diamphina, Franzen, that's probably the slowest pairing in defense history. Yeah, they got 3 clicks each. We got Gardner, Holzer, Riley, and Robida, who's now on Robida Island. Yeah. Bernie and Reimer. Man, how bad was that team?
It was, that was a tough time, and you know, as a Bruin fan, I mean, we had our little glory there for a bit, but I always.
Your team had fun with us. Team.
We, I let the boys know. That's why I can respect the Leaf fans, because they've been through hell and back a couple times. So it's nice. It's nice to see, you know, the city finally see a winning team. You know, like you look at this roster, geez, man, I couldn't even.
This roster.
I don't even think some of these guys would make my men's league team.
No, they wouldn't. Especially you got guys like Santorelli, who actually went to Nashville. I don't even know how we got a second pick for him.
Yeah, that's a
panic. Holland, really.
Who's the GM at the 2014?
I was going Nonis. Nonis at that time.
Nonis,
and he picked up Clarkson. Everyone thought that was a steal at $6 million. He had one good season of 30 goals. They lock him up for 7 years.
It was Jordan Tutu in 07 there.
Yeah, exactly. Big mistake. Or Jason Blake when he got 46 goals. Leafs signed him, thought him and Sundin were going to be magic. Blake didn't turn out. It always happens to us, but again, even actually 3 years ago today, I believe the Leafs started the no salute to the fans. So you could see where our teams come from in 3 years. We had inside turmoil going on in the change room. Carlisle lost the team. The guys had every club on speed dial. They were going everywhere. They were not serious. They didn't even salute their fans after the game. What a change in 3 years. So that team was pretty hell. And actually, I even watched on Sportsnet, I don't know if you guys saw tonight, Gretzky had a chance to go to the Leafs in 1996. But Matt, what they said was they couldn't afford Wayne in 1996 for $3 million. That's the biggest bullshit I've ever heard in my life.
I mean, that would have changed the hockey mecca of the world. That's for sure. I mean, Toronto's got to be the hockey mecca of the world, and you got the greatest player of all time. Coming to the city.
Exactly. He was on his last 3 years, but he was still averaging 80 points. Put him on a line with Matt Sundin at $3 million. Matt's would have scored 50 a year, guaranteed.
Wayno comes to Laval. Does he wait in line?
Not at all. I go down.
Even at 96?
96, 97. Even though I just got my license, I would have took a cab because there was no Uber back then. Shout out to Uber for making my life better. I would have definitely got him in Laval. I probably would have got him over you, Matt. But I would have came and got you second. I would have told you to hold with the finger, wait 1 minute.
1 second, yeah.
My favorite thing at the club, guys, I work is give me one, give me two. I'll be right back. Might not come back if I get 3 vodka sodas in me. That's another story for another night. I think that was the biggest mistake in Leaf history. 1996, we had a chance to get Gretzky, and we didn't get him. You know, the only time I hated Gretzky, very simple, 1993 high stick. It wasn't his fault for giving a high stick. It was Fraser's fault for not calling it. One of the worst days of my life. I think if we win that game, we probably win the cup that year against Montreal. Just have to get past Patrick Waugh. That would have been tough. But I'm still not over that 1993 playoff series. And 96, when I saw that tonight on TV, it really got me going. Gretzky should have been a Leaf. Wanted to be close to his father. Didn't happen. Crazy scenario.
His father. Oof.
Oh, beautiful. That guy's going to live to he's 140 for sure.
He's always got that notepad of pre-signed autographs. He's had that since the 70s.
We have a question from Massimo Leo. This is to you and me. Do you think he would have apologized to Killer for that high stick? You think Wayne gave up?
Yeah, I do. I mean, the game was obviously different back then, but I mean, Dougie was probably one of the most respected guys in the league, and there is some kind of hockey etiquette out there.
I think he was on Days of Our Lives too, and his part-time.
Probably.
He looked fantastic.
So I would say he definitely he had definitely some sort of apology. It's actually a funny part of the game. You know, you see it at all different levels, the etiquette and the relationship that a lot of these players have, and you know, it's a funny story. This year at Bowsteel, Steve Spott, assistant coach of San Jose, before we were going on the ice, he was telling us a story about playoffs, and I believe it was Nashville, San Jose, and I want to say Johansson skated by and was kind of chirping Jumbo Joe, telling him, you know, you're done, you're hacked, pack it in,
Never,
you know, just
a legend. No.
You know, just the basic chirps in playoffs. You know, what's said on the ice is on the ice, but apparently someone said something, and by the time they got on the plane, Joe Thornton got a call from Johansson saying, "Listen, I'm sorry, I apologize. I was way out of my league, and I shouldn't be chirping a guy of your stature."
Well, that happens often.
Yeah, it happens 100%, right? And again, it's just the etiquette of the game where the stuff that
I
doesn't
can
meet
see
the
Wayne
public
saying, "Sorry, Dougie." Fraser was more worried about his hair than calling that high
He
stick.
did have beautiful hair, though.
Beautiful hair. It reminds me of myself and yours too. So definitely he didn't make that call. A lot of people saying here, imagine a line with Doug Gilmour, Sundin, and Wayne. Actually, I think they probably would have been centers at that time, but maybe they probably would have put Wayne on the left wing, Doug Gilmour in the second. Not saying we would have won the cup that year, but I think Wayne his last 3 years would have been great. But that's a great story. I never knew someone would text someone on a plane saying apologizing. Hanson's a good hockey player, but he ain't no Joe Thornton, so you should respect someone who has 1,400 points, won 2 gold medals, and really appreciate someone like Jumbo Joe, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then we're going to go to the Leaf game Saturday, guys. The Leafs versus the Habs. Saturday night, huge win for the boys, 6-0. Usually Wonder Boy gives me these stats, but he's studying for a big test. He's got a future besides JoeyTLive, so we got to give him credit for that. Hainsey, Kadri, Brown, JVR, and Mateo with 2. Anderson back-to-back shutouts. October was hell for him. He must have been listening to November Rain when they came to town because he's been on fire in November. I couldn't believe the difference in months. Me and Franco Ralph were pretty much, we want to send him to Robidoux Island. He was been playing that bad. How do you feel about Anderson's turnaround in the last month?
He's proven to be a top goalie. I mean, you're getting paid top dollar. You got to perform, and I mean, the Leafs have been lucky that in the month of October they have been putting up goals, right? Because I mean, you're winning games, letting in 3, 4, 5 goals. You got to thank your offense for them, or for getting those 2 points after the game every night. But I mean, good goalies bounce back. He's proven himself to be a top goalie in this league. I mean, back-to-back shutouts, even in men's league, is a pretty tough task, right?
Anywhere.
So, I mean, he's stepping up, and he's a huge part of this team, that's for sure.
He reminds me a little bit of myself, Anderson starts off bad in October. In school, in high school, I started off good in October, and then I failed right after that, November, December. He's opposite of me, so I see that little resemblance. I don't know, how'd you do in school?
Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on from that. Okay, that's pretty much why we're on the show together. We're not here for our brains, we're here for our handsome looks.
Exactly.
Shout out to my mom. What level are you on Candy Crush today, Mom? What are you at? Level what? Can't see? You need another
400.
400 from my mom. That's fantastic. She's really killing it. Good for you, Mom. Welcome to the show again. And another thing, guys, I've been saying it for a lot of episodes. Marner should be playing with Mateo. Marner should be playing with Mateo. Those 4-7 minutes he played together in Montreal with him, that was magic. It reminds me of a Hall and Oates combination. Obviously, Oates would be Marner. Brett Hall would be Mateo.
How about Oates and Neely?
Oates and Neely, yeah. You know what? I wouldn't say Mateo's is as feisty as a Neely, but I would even put a Neely mixed with a Hall because he's got a release like Hall.
Yeah.
But I really,
the size, the strength.
you know Marner's talents. I know Mateo's talents. Why not put them together? It was great. There's actual quote, and I want you to answer this. This is a quote from Babcock tonight. The beauty of this is when you get to coach the team, you get to do what you want. When I coach the team, I do what I want, and I like to win. How do you feel about that comment by Babs?
I mean, I get what he says. Being as a coach, it's having full control of that bench, and I can't see anybody wanting to win more than him, right? And we talked about it last
show.
Last show we talked about putting those two together and whether it would work or whether it would not. But I mean, you possibly have the best goal scorer right now in Matthews.
Yeah, him and Kucherov, I put him up.
Yeah, Kucherov. Yeah, I put 1-2, absolutely.
1A, 1B, whatever.
And I
you want to
mean,
call it.
guys like Marner. I mean, for the average hockey guy, yeah, he's an amazing player. But I mean, when you really dissect his game, and you see what he's capable of upstairs, he's such a brilliant player. And I mean, that's nothing against Hyman and nothing against Nylander, but they should have done. Yeah, they should have done this a while ago. I mean, you throw Martin on there, he plays a Semenko role.
You could throw anyone on there. You could throw none long goes on that third line. You just gotta put those two with the grinder. I'd put even Leo on that side. Someone just to muck it up in the corners, get the puck. Even a Brown, even Martin. That pass, no one's talking about the pass Martin did to Marner before it got to Matthews.
You know what? You play at that level, everybody has skill. Everybody. Like I played against Martin in the O. He was a big boy. He was a tough guy out in Sarnia. I mean, but these guys have skill. When they get to the next level, you know, in order to make a living out of it, you got to do.
No, you got to be able to skate. You got to be able to keep up.
And in his situation, he was relied upon for his mitts, not stick handling, that's for sure. But you know, he never has the opportunity, you know, to showcase his talent, to you know, show what he can do with the puck. And it's a good opportunity playing with these two guys where he's not relied upon on scoring. Well, he never kind of was, but I mean, he clears the ice, and these two guys are good enough where they don't technically need a third guy.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter. I don't mean to knock anyone who goes on that third side.
Absolutely.
I think anyone on that team could go on that third side, because I was even watching the game today, and they were saying the team has been rallying to have those two guys together. I know Babcock wants to spread out the offense, but I still think we have enough talent to spread out the offense and start the game. Look at tonight. The Leafs are losing 2-1. They put Marner and Matthews, and all of a sudden, buzzing. It's like a bunch of bees out there. Like, it was crazy. Put them together the whole game. I really believe they win that game tonight. And again, I'm not telling a guy who's won a Stanley Cup, 2 Olympic golds, coached the best players in the world how to do his job. I just still think, this is the only time he's been wrong. And I hope he doesn't hear this. But Babcock, if you're listening, you probably do watch my show with your wife before you go to sleep. I think you're making a mistake. I think Mateo should be with Marner. And like Piva said, throw a Martin on that side, throw a guy like Brown, even put Hyman. But I don't know. You need those two guys together. I just see magic. When they hugged each other, it looked like
best friends.
Best friends. Yeah. You know, best friends. When they play hockey together, it's something special.
They're deep enough right now with their 12 where you could mix and match.
100%.
You know, you got guys like, you know, even guys like Marlowe that are playing a third, fourth role position right now. You know, you juice up your top 6.
That's all.
You could keep Hyman, Nylander, and throw up Brown. You have Mitchie and Austin together. You technically could throw anybody up there. You could throw Kadri up there. You know, you have your fourth line. You even have like a Dominic Moore through the middle with a Marlowe and a Komarov. Like you ain't getting a better fourth line in the league.
I would probably go like this, and this is my opinion, and it means a lot to a lot of people out here watching. But I'm gonna go Marner, Matthews. No, we're gonna go Marner, Matthews, Brown. I think Brown will muck it up on that first line. Second line, you could go Bozak, keep him with JVR, even put a Marlowe on that line. Third line, you know what? I would love to see Kadri with Nylander and Leo. The fourth line, like you said, does it really matter who goes on the fourth line? It does and it doesn't, but you're getting 8-7 minutes. Put Moore to muck it up. Put Martin on that fourth line. Even bring off Kapanen and put some speed on that line.
Those guys are crucial, though, right? Like guys like Moore is, you know, he's been a top PKer in his career. You need guys like that, right?
100%. So bad loss for the Leafs tonight. I know it doesn't look good on paper, losing to Phoenix, but Phoenix has got a lot of young hockey players. You got Max Domi from Toronto playing in front of his hometown. He hasn't actually scored a goal since the first game of the season after a good rookie year. But that's what the NHL does. It's not easy. And I know Marner was struggling at first. He looks like the old Marner, even that pass tonight. Only guys like Marner can make that play, Matt. Like you know him pretty well. You know his talents. You've seen him grow. And for us to be successful, he has to be the second best player on this team. Else we're not going anywhere. That's my thoughts on that.
I think he's shown over the last little bit. I mean, I shouldn't say everybody, but most young players do go through a sophomore slump. You know, and you're seeing it with a couple guys. But I mean, these guys have such an extremely amount of talent where, you know, the slumps last, you know, even 10, 15 games. I mean, through the course of an 82-game season, you know, they snap out. And when they do snap out, they come back with a vengeance. And, you know, you could see over the last couple games that, you know, he's playing.
He's definitely back. His speed's back.
Everything.
He's still got about 15, 16 assists, just as much as McDavid and Crosby.
Yeah. I mean, everybody looks at the goals, right?
He's not a goal
department.
Yeah.
You know,
to me,
what does he have? 2 now?
2 for the year.
2 for the year.
But he's got about 15. I don't care if he scores 10, but he has 60 assists. He's good in my books.
Yeah, he should be a point a game. He'll be a point a game
One
guy
day
in
he
his
will be,
career.
definitely. We got a question from Dino for you, Matt. First time caller, first time listener. Do you think Anderson is consistent and stable enough to take Leafs the distance?
I do. I think in order for the Leafs to go the distance, and again, I'm not talking as a fan, I'm just talking as a hockey guy, I think they're missing a number 1 and a number 3 defenseman. I think their offense, their top 12, they're 12 up front. I mean, you probably could compare to anybody in the league.
Right now, yes.
Depth included. You need depth to win playoffs.
Imagine saying that 2 years ago, though, Matt. You've seen how crappy we were.
You wouldn't win. You'd lose to Grand Rapids in the Calder Cup.
100%.
So I think Anderson, with a couple more guys in front of him on the blue line, I think the Leafs have a chance to make a run. I mean, winning the Stanley Cup is obviously
still far-fetched.
yeah.
I
wouldn't say far-fetched, but it's definitely still a ways away. I mean, this summer, landing a guy like a Drew Doughty or a Eric Urbanson.
Do you think they could pick up anyone at the trade deadline, Matt?
It depends their positioning, right? Trade deadline's March 1st.
March 1st.
March 1st.
That time.
So I mean, depending on their positioning, right? They could win the next 15 out of 20 games and be sitting first in the Eastern Conference or second behind Tampa, or
Would you make a trade, not as a fan, as a hockey guy? Who would you give up? And say if you could get a decent defenseman. I'm not going to give you a name because we don't know what's out there right now.
There's a couple. I mean, you would need something more than a decent defenseman at this point. You would need something more than a decent defenseman because this could be the only team in the league that doesn't have a number 1 defenseman.
That's true too. Yeah.
Everyone's like Riley, but I mean, he's not a number 1.
2 or 3, I'd give him tops.
Gardner. Again, I know there's
makes more mistakes than I did.
Jeez, I think he's the most. Yeah, he's the most overrated defenseman in the league. I mean, high risk, high reward.
I cringe watching him play.
His risks are way more than what he's given. He has a little flash here and there, but I mean, he's just so reliable in his own zone.
Gives away the puck too many times.
I think Zaitsev's their most steady defenseman. I mean, Hainsey's a 5-6 on any other team.
He was a 7 on Pittsburgh last year because of injuries. He went in 6 and 5.
Borgman, I thought he played on the soccer team. This is the first time I've heard of him.
Borgman does nothing for me. So you're right. So even if you think we got a steady defenseman, I don't know if
steady's not going to do it. You need a stud. You need a number 1.
You
need a Doughty.
Those guys aren't available right now. I wouldn't.
They will be. They will be. And I'm
next
sure,
year, probably not this year.
Not this year. At this year, you're going to have to give somebody up. You're going to have to give up a young buck. You're going to have to give up a Marner, a Nylander, a Brown.
You don't think a JVR and a Kapanen could get a deal done?
It depends to the right team. I mean, JVR's past his peak in my eyes. He's 30 years old now? He's an 88. JVR? Yeah. He's at 30 years old. I mean, he's
pushing 30 for sure.
He's comfortable where he is. I mean, can he help another team? Absolutely, but
do you make a trade and start to interrupt someone like Edmonton did, giving up Taylor Hall for a Larson? I don't want to be a Leaf team who gives up a Nylander for a Larson type defenseman.
No. And Larson at this point ain't going to help your team. I mean, he will, but to take him deep in the playoffs, Larson's not your guy. You need a number 1. You need a quarterback for your power play. I mean, Mitchie does a good job back there on that first unit.
Yeah,
but you need a stud. You need a stud defenseman. And again, there's a lot of good, solid D, a lot of 2, 3, 4s that you do need for a successful playoff team. But at the end of the day, you look at these teams that go deep, they all have their go-to guy on the back.
We got a question, Matty, from Ralph Spataro, my other co-host, who's in the Caribbean right now swimming. They have to knock on Minnesota's door. Ralph is saying Dumba. How do you feel about a Dumba to the Maple Leafs?
He's a good defenseman. Is he your guy? I don't know. I don't know if
he'd be enough.
I don't think he's enough. I mean, right now he'd step in as your number 1, but again, like we said, it's not saying much right now with the defensive core of this team.
No, not enough.
I mean, he's a hell of a defenseman.
Great player. I like Jones from Columbus. I know.
I would put Seth Jones above him.
They have to give up a lot, Johansson, but I think they won that trade. If you ask me, Seth Jones on the Leafs would look fantastic, but there's no way Tortorella's getting rid of him. And Columbus
that price is high. But I mean, again, the Leafs are probably one of the most prized team for prospects. Not even prospects, but young guns, right?
Yeah.
You got the 3. I mean,
Ralph would say, like he's saying right here, that Dumbo would be our number 2 if he came, which is great. But I like people saying, Ralph, that's a good point. He probably would be our number 2. We still need that
behind
number 1
who?
guy.
Riley?
See, Riley's a 3 if Dumba comes in. I think Dumba's better than Riley.
So do I.
So at that point, you got 2 and 3, and you give up a Nylander for Dumba. No way in hell I'm doing that trade. So that's a tough one.
You know what? Like I said, a guy, and I keep bringing up Doughty because obviously, you know, he's made it clear that he would love to play here. He's St. Thomas or a London boy. He's been at Jackson Jim Bob's a couple times, that's for sure.
Wow.
But you know, to get him, you know, at this point in his career, like I would even think you'd be giving up like a Nylander, and whether it's a top prospect or a pick. I mean, because his stock is still so high, he's still such a dominant defenseman, and he's 26, 27?
Young boy, and defensemen are hard to come by. Look at Montreal Canadiens, they got Drouin, and look what they have to give up to get him.
I don't know how that guy still got a job.
I don't know how that guy in Montreal, I didn't want to say his name, because actually it's making me happy because he's making the team worse, but they got Drouin, they got rid, what's that defenseman's name they got rid of?
Sergachev.
He is fantastic. Oh. He made that Tampa Bay team even
Modern
better.
day.
Oh my God, he's so good.
Yeah, he's a stud.
That's the kind of defenseman we need. And they only gave up Drouin. No knock on Drouin, but wow, I probably would have gave. Not that they would have took JVR and somewhere. I keep saying JVR because that's the only guy I feel comfortable getting rid of, and that's pretty much how it is. Drew Doughty, what cost? Ralph Spataro's asking you, Piva, Drew Doughty, what would it cost and how much would it cost the Leafs to bring Drew Doughty?
Like I said, at this point, you're looking at a guy like Mitch, or you're looking at Nylander and a pick. I mean, points don't do it for me. You know, with value, I still think Mitch has a lot more value than Nylander. So I think I could see him going for a straight up. I mean, contracts and a whole nother thing.
You know, Doughty's going to ask for $10 billion.
Yeah, as he should. But I mean, it's. See, you know, would you give up Mitch for Doughty? I mean, you're sinking a hole.
That one hurts.
You're sinking a hole in your offense, but I mean, you're getting.
Wow, that's like two.
You're getting your guy. You're getting your guy, which you'd probably sign for another 4. He'd probably want a 4, 5, 6 year deal
to end his career, pretty much.
You know, back in his hometown, and he would be your guy, where you'd build your defensive core around him.
30 minutes a night, easy in his sleep.
You know, and you would see guys like. You know, you would see guys like Riley's game elevate.
Oh, sure.
You would see guys like Gardner's game elevate because Gardner wouldn't be that puck rushing, high risk, high reward defenseman because that wouldn't be his role.
He'd probably
take a
be
smaller
shipped
role,
out, you know, or he'd probably be shipped out if we got someone like that. There'd be no room for his style of play because Doughty would show him actually how to do that style of play correctly, and you wouldn't see a guy like Gardner getting a lot of minutes. He'd probably play 10 to 15.
Send him back
you know what
there.
I would do? I'd do a Nylander for Doughty straight up if that was
Send
on
him
the
Anaheim
table.
on tour. I like that guy.
Wow,
man.
that's a good hockey player
like
right
him.
there too. But
I've
I
been a
don't
big
like.
fan of him this year.
I just like Nylander still the way he douses with that puck, and he's still young. What do we got here? Nurse for JVR. I don't think they would ever do that trade, Ralph. Good. I would take that trade.
Yeah.
I'll take Nurse for JVR. I do not
I'd love to see the big dog in the
100%, but I don't see Edmonton giving up probably their only good defenseman next to Larson. That's not saying much for JVR. Then they got to pay JVR $7 million, $6 million. They got on the hook for Nuge for $7 million. They got rid of Hall for nothing. Eberle, they gave up on him, so I don't see that happening. Nurse for JVR.
That'd be a tough trade from the Eastern to the Western Conference.
I don't see that happening at all. But you know what? For a guy like Drew Doughty, I wouldn't give Marner if I had to choose. Sorry, Nylander. I know if you're listening, you probably are right now. I don't know if I could get rid of you. But if I had to get a guy like Doughty, you know Babcock, he's been on Team Canada 2 times, Doughty.
He's a big Doughty fan.
He's been his number one defenseman. Even in 2010 when he was, how old was Doughty in British Columbia in the Olympics? He was, 20 years old?
He was underage. I'll tell you a funny story. We were in Vegas that year, and they showed up that summer. They showed up to the bar in Vegas, and the bouncer knew he was underage. He obviously knew who he was. It was a bunch of the LA.
Where's that guy from? Toronto? That
they were the whole LA Kings team showed up, and we were there with a couple of our buddies. And he goes, "Oh, I know who you are." And he's like, "Oh, you have ID?" He's like, It's like,
They didn't let Doughty in.
No, they let him in.
Oh,
they let him in. He must have been 19, 20 years old. That's how old he was that first gold medal he won.
Oh, he played fantastic.
Incredible.
Doing spinner. Dennis Savard's spinorama at 19 years old.
Incredible.
He wasn't even supposed to play. He was playing some big minutes.
He's the rich man Subban.
100%. We got Anthony Galuzzo saying Nylander can't be traded. Well, a lot of people would be 50-50. But if someone like Doughty came to me, give me Nylander for Doughty. Guys, I know you're listening out there. That's a tough one right there. Ralph Spataro saying Doughty was 20 years old on that Team Canada, and he played some quality. When I saw him play at 20, and for Babcock to play
Who else?
at 20.
Was Niedermeyer there? Was that the year?
Niedermeyer was his last year. They had
Bouwmeester.
They had
Petro wasn't there.
No
Petro was the 4 years after.
Who was there? Oh, man. That was good for 2010. You got to go way back. That's 7 years already. I know Brodeur was in that. Longo took over. We had Doughty, Niedermeyer was huge. Chris Pronger,
Pronger was there. Yeah, he would be there for
sure. 3. Who else would be there? Bouwmeester was probably 4. Duncan Keith.
Seabrook.
5. Seabrook, I do not think he made the team in 2014. He was the odd man out too. So I don't think. You know what? Seabrook was there.
He was. The year after he wasn't.
2014 he wasn't. That was I think that was probably the best Canada team since 1987.
And crazy.
2014, they were stacked. They were deep. They had everyone flying. You know, I wish the Olympics were going on right now. Who'd you even go with? You got Tyler Seguin. You got McDavid. Put a line. I think the first line would have been McDavid, Crosby, and Marchand. That's all I would have went on the first line. That would have been a scary first line. You got Ben. Wow, I'm so sad. I love the Olympics, guys. From a non-Boston fan or any team that was winning in the last 10 years, when the Olympics came around, I finally had someone to cheer for, Matt. So in 2010, when Crosby scored, I was so happy. 2014, they played Sweden. I got up early and I watched that game, and I was crippled the night before. Of course, I went out. It was Saturday night. And watching those guys win, it was fantastic, but too bad they're not going. Anthony Galuzzo, how about a Weber? I wouldn't take Weber right now. I think Weber's on his downside right now. And
I'd take Weber.
Take Weber right now?
I would take him. He's still an elite defenseman.
He is, but would you do it for a young stud? And I think Weber's got 2 to 3 good years left.
What's his contract right now?
He's got a good 7 years left on that sucker.
Yeah.
That's too long.
That's a
that
tough
money
one for him.
He had a $100 million contract. I wouldn't take. Don't get me wrong. If someone give me Weber now and I don't have to give up a young gun, 100%.
Yeah, you'd be stupid not to.
I think Montreal would be stupid to trade him when they gave up PK.
Done stupider than that.
The face of the city, they got rid of PK for Weber. They're not going to give them Toronto Maple Leafs a Weber and say, here, take this, and put a match to the whole stadium because we're about to blow up for sure. I don't know, guys. The Leafs definitely need another defenseman. They should have won tonight. Now their record, I believe, is 14-8. I'm not sure who they play next, but if Wonder Boy was here, he's too busy studying, he would have gave me that answer. Well, guys, thank you for coming out tonight. I want to thank my special guest. There's going to be on a lot more. Matt Piva, thank you, Matt, for coming out. Guys, we're going to be going live a lot more now. We got Ralph Spataro who's swimming in the Caribbean. I can't wait to see you again. My mom's on level 401 right now. She just beat her girl from Switzerland when Mateo played when he was 18 years old. God bless her. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. And we'll definitely see you another night.
I want to just give a shout out to my second mother, Joanne. Joanne Tanzi. I know she's watching. I told her about the show, so she's watching live, and she's got to be the biggest Leaf fan I know. So what's up, Joanne? I love you.
I want to give a special shout out to Mario Lemieux. If you ever want to meet me because of the show, Mario, I'm here for you, man. Say Magnifique, Super Mario. You had the best name of all time. You opened up your legs like I've never seen Korea. How'd you know Korea was behind you? If you're listening, did you know Korea was behind you when you opened your legs? God bless you wherever you are, Mario. Shout out to Ralph Spataro again. We're out, guys. Thank you for showing up. God bless.
That's sick. Is it still going?
Now.